You are listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik, a show to help professional moms in survival mode to take hold of their lives and thrive. If you're ready to take powerful action to create your best life, then this is the show for you. I'm your host, Dr. Prianca Naik, board-certified internal medicine physician and certified life coach. Now let's get to it and dive in. You are listening to the Empowering Working Moms podcast, episode number 42. Hi, everyone. Welcome today. I'm so glad to have you here. I can see some glimmers of spring where I live, so sunshine and hope is around the corner, and I'm definitely in a much better mood with the sun setting a little bit later in the day. The days are not so short in terms of the darkness and sunlight. Before we dive in, I want to give some information from behind the scenes in my program. I had a client recently say to me that even before actually finishing my program, that she was having major shifts, having better relationships, being more present with her kids. She felt like she was a better mom. She was sleeping better, really bouncing back from situations that would have bothered her for, hours to days, but being able to bounce back in minutes, really increasing her resilience and not only finding balance, but actually having happiness every single day, no matter what. And you're probably thinking, what? How is that possible? But it actually is, because there is so much magic in this work. Believe me, I live, eat, breathe it. I love it so much. It has transformed my life. Probably the person I am today is so different from the person I was, 8-9 years ago, chronically anxious, always exhausted, spinning brain that wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop going, and really creating my 5-pillar process to learn to find peace of mind no matter what, and really have happiness every single day. Enrollment is open for my foundational group coaching program, which I'm launching in about a month, for professional moms who want to end burnout and overwhelm to finally have peace of mind and joy daily. Book a call with me, Prianca Naik, MD Coaching, and apply to work with me. I would love to talk to you, see where you are, and see if you're a good fit for my program. The link's in the show notes. Today, I want to talk about something that I've been focusing on the last couple of podcasts, not death, but I heard a podcast recently about death in the most interesting way, and I wanted to share what I picked up and learned with you because it really had an impact on me. And I know episode 40, I talked about the bucket list, and then last week I talked about really embracing change. And I talked a little bit about death and how afraid we are of change, of people dying, and of grief. And similarly, just acknowledging that we're not going to live forever, right? Which I definitely know in my line of work as a physician, we don't live forever as much as many human beings want to pretend that we're never going to die. So in that vein, people often live as though they have forever to do things. They have forever to take that favorite trip that they've been dreaming of their whole lives. They have forever to plan out their retirement. They have forever to make peace, maybe with whatever turbulent relationship or a family member. And unfortunately, that is not the case. So they might push things off, right? I'll do this when. And hopefully when comes, but it's never guaranteed. None of us actually knows how long we have to live in this one precious life. And I know this probably isn't something that's comfortable for you to hear maybe, but that's a part of the real talk of this podcast. I want to talk about the reality, what is. And in this light, right, we realize how precious this life is. It's so precious that we have no time to waste in jobs that we hate, in relationships that make us miserable, in whatever it is that steals our joy. Because as much as human suffering is universal, we know that. I believe the Buddha said that. But also, we all are just seeking happiness. And the Dalai Lama, I believe, talks about that as well. We all just want to be happy. So part of being happy is truly dialing in to who we are, who we want to be, and are we living in a way that aligns with that in integrity with who we are and who we want to be. And I think that, well, not even think, I know that living out of alignment, out of integrity is something that causes us so much grief and suffering, extra suffering, because we are out of alignment. So, here are some questions to really help your brain prioritize your values, how you want to live, and help you to truly get in touch with living in alignment with who you are or want to be. So, the following questions are meant to create urgency, and I suggest pausing this and getting a sheet of paper, maybe when you're not when you're driving, listening to it later when you're not driving, and really doing this exercise. So, one of the first questions is, if you knew you had 1 year to live, what would you stop doing? This is such a fascinating question because I think this really brings up ways in which we waste time. And so for me, the answer to this question is social media consumption. I'm on it posting tips and tricks and whatnot for all of you listeners out there. But of course, then I can get distracted and, get scrolling when I could get back that time. So that's what came up for me. If you knew you had 1 year to live, what would you do more of? For me, I think that's fun, which I've talked about before, but I'm pretty much in alignment with what I would want to do more of. But really think about what you're not doing enough of in your life, what you wish you had more of in your life, and try and implement that more. Third question, if you knew you had 1 year to live, what legacy would you want to leave behind? Right? And that's such a critical question for professional moms because we want to leave a legacy for our children, maybe the next generation after that. And for me, it is making an impact and creating a movement. I'm getting like choked up talking about it because it's so near and dear to my heart, truly. But creating a movement where moms who are burnt out and totally exhausted can learn to truly find peace of mind and happiness every single day. And I tell you this because I know this is possible. I know this is possible because of me and so many of my clients too, who come to me so unhappy and they find that they're able to truly, with the tools and strategies I give them, they no longer have to look outside of themselves and they can find peace and joy always, truly. Okay. So sorry for getting emotional, but that's a part of life and our human experience. We feel the feels, right? So the next question is, if you knew you had 1 year to live, what impact would you want to make? And I love this. This is kind of similar to the legacy question, right? Impact for me is how I answered the previous question and also connecting with my children and really teaching them so much of what I wish I had known. And I work a lot with them. I try and teach, they're very young, but I try and teach them gratitude and I do a little bit of mindset work and really cultivating kindness in my son, who I hope will grow up to be a kind, thoughtful person and, maybe make a wonderful husband to somebody someday. But that's my impact in terms of my children, and the impact of my work, I already said. Also connecting with my friends, but I'm pretty good at doing that. If you go and ask them, they'll tell you that I'm very good at keeping in touch and staying connected with them through phone, text messages, or even meeting up with them in person. If you knew, this is the last question, if you knew you had 1 year to live, what would you do for your career and what would you do for fun? And this is a great one because people always think that it's too late to change careers, and I challenge that. I was in full-time medical practice before starting life coaching, and I decided to make a shift, and I could not be happier. I love being a doctor, but honestly, I love coaching my clients even more, and the impact I make makes me so happy. So if you're thinking about a career that you might want to do differently from where you are, I would encourage you to give some thought to it, because it all starts with a thought. I knew I wanted to do something outside of medicine probably several years before I even got my coaching certification. And okay, what you would do for fun. I know for me, fun is either going out to eat or connecting with my friends, having dinner, out to eat with my friends, and enjoying myself. Dancing, of course, which I've talked about plenty. I talk about that all the time because it brings me so much joy. But that's me. And I want you to think about, what would that be for you? And really take some time to either look at the show notes or re-listen to this podcast, reflect on these questions, give some time, because it really gives us a beautiful perspective on what we really want, what we really desire, who on some level we really are. So we get this fascinating lens on our lives with these questions. They create a timeline for us, and they force us to really cut out the fat and get down to what we truly want to do. I did this exercise and found that I pretty much am doing exactly what I would be doing if I had a year to live. So I do feel good about that. But I do have work to do on social media consumption. So I'm going to focus on cutting that out more and more. I encourage you to put time into this and write down answers to these exercises, see what comes up. You might really surprise yourself. And also, I would love to hear from you. You can email me at Priyanka@stresscleansemd.com. Enrollment is open for my foundational group coaching program for professional moms who want to end burnout and overwhelm to finally have their peace of mind back and enjoy their lives every single day. Book a call with me, Prianca Naik, mdcoaching.as.me. Apply to work with me. I want to talk to you, see where you are, and see if you're a good fit for the program, which I bet you are. The link is in the show notes. And thank you so much for tuning in this week, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Empowering Working Moms podcast, Real Talk with Dr. Prianca Naik. If you are ready to get unstuck and out of survival mode to live your best life, I want to invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation call with me. To get started, visit priyankanaikmdcoaching.as.me. Link in the show notes.